This is the best real estate newsletter and real estate email marketing strategy this year. Most agents miss out on a ton of clients because they lack a proper email marketing strategy. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the 3 email types that are very easy to send and that actually get people to raise their hands and ask you for your help. Now, our team has personally analyzed thousands and thousands of real estate agents' marketing systems. When it comes down to email marketing, we have helped over 800 real estate agents and real estate teams to personally implement email marketing systems. And we have personally pressed the send button on over 2 million emails. So we have the data on really what works and what doesn't work when it comes down to your email marketing. Now, for most real estate agents, what we have seen is that there's only 2 types of scenarios. Number 1 is that there's no email marketing at all. Even to Sphere Influence, there's no any kind of marketing systems. Number 2 is usually a brokerage provided newsletter. And what that looks like, essentially it's something like this, where essentially it's a very visual one, right? There's a lot of pictures, there's a lot of different things going on that you can see right over here. Now, basically the problems with most real estate marketing when it comes down to email marketing specifically are the following. So number 1 is that the sending frequency, how often the email is actually going out, it's usually what we have seen, it's about 1 time per month. So people send 1 email per month. Now, when you actually do the math there, right, if you have a database of, let's say, 1,000 people, right, you send an email to them and it gets, say, 30% open rate. Well, what that means is that you only had 300 people open the email in the first place for 1 single time, right? So if you expect that to turn into listing appointments, expect that to turn into referrals, right? Obviously, that's just not possible. According to even just basic marketing research, there's a study that has done, even in 1930s, people need to see you 7 times before they even remember your name, right? Before they even remember your name. Now, for somebody to become your client, to actually ask you for a listing appointment, right, and see you as a go-to real estate agent, right, you can't expect that to happen with 1 single email per month, right? But the problem with that is that because the emails themselves, right, you can see that they're very, very kind of like heavy, right? There's a lot of pictures. They're trying to like fill everything into the same thing. You can only send them 1 time because if you would be sending them over and over again, right, you would always have to come up with different content, whatever, right? So there's a lot of things that you have to do. Now, number 2 is that it feels irrelevant, right? Because there's just generic information. Even though these emails, obviously they will look incredible, right? There's pictures, there's all these things going on. When you actually dive into the email, when you read the actual email, it's just generic information that you can just get online. And these statistics that these emails usually provide, right, they're usually very generic. So the homeowner themselves, they can't really understand, well, how is this relevant to me? I mean, how does this affect my decision-making process, right? Like if the interest rates go this direction, well, how does this impact my home selling process, right? Should I sell now? Should I sell later? What should I be doing when it comes down to my decision-making process? And so the homeowners, they are just essentially seeing random information. So a little bit like, let's say you saw an email that says, okay, the Facebook has raised their CPMs by 2.5%, right? As an average real estate agent, you wouldn't usually understand even what a CPM is, but the same applies to homeowners. They don't understand the different intricacies, the little details when it comes down to these statistics. Now, number 3 is that it feels like marketing. So generally people have a tendency to ignore marketing, especially nowadays, right? Everybody's getting bombarded with spam calls, spam emails. All these ISAs are reaching out to people, right? People have a tendency to ignore marketing. And then if your marketing feels like marketing, you're usually doing something wrong. Now, lastly, of course, it is impersonal, right? And one of the biggest things we have personally noticed is that the biggest thing about real estate marketing, the biggest difference between a contact and a contract is our relationship, right? And if you don't build a relationship with your marketing, right, you cannot expect that to turn into real estate clients. Now, of course, lastly, one more thing, right, is that there's no clear call to actions, right? There's no direction as far as, okay, where should I go? It usually links to a website with these emails, and then the website itself has like 30 different things, right? Check out this thing, check out that thing, check out that thing. So there's no clear directions, there's no clear call to actions to these emails, and then from your perspective, you're usually gonna have just a very low conversion rate. You're not getting a lot of clients, you're not getting buyer leads, you're not getting seller leads, right? You're just not getting anything out of it, and that's a good sign that you don't have clear call to actions or that your emails just bluntly suck. So your monthly email plan that we wanna shift to, right? What you actually wanna do to change this Well, you basically want to do the opposite of what doesn't work, right? So instead of sending little emails, we send emails a lot. We send emails at least 1 time per week. Your open rate is about 15 to 30%. So if you just send 1 email per month, again, most people only read it, they get 2 or 3 emails per year on average, right? So if you send 1 email per week, you're now massively going to increase your odds of getting a listings just by sending more. Now, we're also going to change the types of emails, right? So as opposed to sending generic, impersonal, right, random emails, we're going to actually have a strategies for what kind of emails you're going to be sending. So we're going to have 3 types of emails: direct call to action, case study emails, and value emails. So for this particular video, we have actually created a full SOP. You can just plug and play and put directly to your real estate business. It's called High Converting Email Marketing Strategy for Real Estate Agents. It's going to go over all of these details. If you want this document, by the way, it's sent you for free. Just comment email marketing under below. We're going to send that to you for free. Now, let's go over this SOP, what this actually looks like. So first of all, we're going to cover the schedule. Week 1, we're going to send a video email. So how's the market? Week 2, we're going to send direct call to action. Week 3, there's going to be case study and client success story. In week 4, we're going to have direct call to action. So let's first talk about the video email, the first email you're going to send on the first week. Now, I'm also going to explain a little bit about these emails and how they actually work and why they actually work. So most important thing about your email marketing is going to be something you haven't thought about probably. It's actually your subject line, because your subject line is actually the thing that all the people you send your email to are going to be reading. So it's basically going to have 100% open rate. Now, when you send your email, it's a little bit like a YouTube video. It's a little bit like a social media post, right? The first few seconds, the first thing that people read are going to determine if people read the rest of the email. So if your headline sucks, your subject line sucks, right? Your email just doesn't have a chance of success. It's a noisy world, right? We have to get people's attention. Now, in this email, we say, is Houston real estate market going to crash, right? So we tap into that fear, obviously the crashing, right? But we also get people's attention, like we get them curious, like, oh, well, is it going to crash, right? What's going on? So with this email, obviously we have Houston, right? So it's also contextually relevant. We're not going to just say, is real estate market going to crash? But we say the local market, right? Is the Houston real estate market going to crash? Which allows, right, our market to be interested in ours specifically. Because we have to remember, right, obviously when people are going to their email box, it's not just that they only get local emails. Most of the emails are just generic, right? They don't have any local area in it. So as a real estate agent, you have that big power to tap into that local effect. Now we go into the body of the actual email, right? This is the actual email. And then we say, hey, name here, right? Now, when we say, hey, name here, right, we're going to add a little bit of personalization, right? That's going to be your name. And then let's say you met the lead from the open house or they opted in from your funnel, whatever the case may be, right? The subconsciously starts to build that relationship with that person. Then we say there's been a lot of talk about if the Houston real estate market is going to crash. Some even say it's a matter of when, not if. So what's going on? Now, immediately when you see this email, right, you can notice that there's no visual, like you can see with the real estate email newsletter most realtors are sending, right? Just this big bang of like visual stuff, right? We have houses, we have different things going on over here. But when you actually see this email now on my screen, right, it's very difficult to read this. There's so many things, and most of the time you're just gonna click away from this. So instead of saying something like that or doing something like that with our email, we're going to have a simple conversation style conversation with the homeowner or with the home buyer, whoever is on our email list, right? And then we keep the information very succinct. It's very short. There's not many things going on here, right? Even a third grader, if you take a kid from school, right? You give them this email, they can read this email. And we'll make it that for a very specific reason, right? Because we get people to actually read the email, right? If it's very complicated, there's all these visuals, they're just not gonna read it. They're gonna skip through it, right? They're gonna go to the next email or do whatever else they want to do. So that's why we keep the email short, we keep it to the point, we go directly to the thing we want, and we get people's curiosity. Now, here we say, I just filmed a quick video where I share with you what the actual data and forecasts say. So when we have this call to action over here to the video, right? We keep it very simple, very short. I just filmed a quick video where I share with you what the actual data on forecasts say, and then we're gonna add a screenshot of the video. Let's say you posted the video on Facebook, right? Take a screenshot, or you have a YouTube, right? We add a hyperlink, so we're gonna have a little picture, right? And then there's gonna be a link to the video. And then we're gonna say, click here to watch the short video. Now, another important thing, right? This email, it's very short. It doesn't have many pictures, it doesn't have a long explaining text, And again, very particular reason as to why is because we want to get people to watch the video, right? In the video, we're going to go over all of the data, all those things. So the shorter your email in general, right, the more people you're going to have clicking on the call to action. And then it's just easier to read, right? People can get to the point, they can get on with the business, whatever you want them to do. So this is just one example of a video email marketing you want to do. And then this is going to be one time per month. So one time per month, you want to send them a video marketing email. And then obviously you will change the email itself, right, according to the video you create, right? So this is just one video about real estate market crashing, right? But let's say the interest rates are rising, you could create a video about that. Or let's say there's something particular happening in your local real estate market, right? You could create a video about that. And so every time you create a different video, obviously you create a different email. And then this is the style of email you can create to get people to watch your video. Now, the beauty of video marketing, obviously, is the fact that the people, they get to see you, right? They get to see your talk, they get to see you explaining different points, they get to meet you, they get to kind of know you, right? And a lot of that will allow the homeowner to really build that relationship, really build that sort of like a comfort with you as a real estate agent. Because let's face it, most real estate marketing, right, when it's impersonal, when it's not really showing the realtor, right, it is kind of difficult to actually hire a real estate agent that you don't know who they are, right? Because at the end of the day, right, they're selling their biggest property. It's a $500,000 house, $1 million house, right? Are they just going to trust a stranger just come in and sell the house, right? Probably not, right? And at the end of the day, they're inviting, if they want to do a real estate transaction, right, they're inviting you to come to their home, right? So that's the thing, like ultimately we have to build comfort with your real estate marketing, right? To get people to trust, to get people comfortable. And video itself, if you're not doing video yet, definitely start doing video. But a lot of times people are obviously uncomfortable with it. You got to get comfortable with it. It's just a fact. If you want to get the listings, start doing video. So let's go over our next email type. And this email type we're going to send twice per month. Now, this email type is specifically designed to open up a conversation with the homeowner or with the home buyer. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, if you can't have conversations, if you don't have conversations, right, there's no ways you can have a listing appointment. There's no way you can have actual transaction, right? So you have to have a way to actually open up that conversation with them. Because let's face it, with these real estate email newsletters, there's no conversation. You're just blasting out random information, right? And then if you get lucky, maybe one time a year, somebody responds to it, right? But there's no like active pursuit of conversation with the homeowner or home buyer. So that's the goal with these emails. And then these, again, we send twice per month. This is an example of what this looks like. So we say, so I came across this earlier this morning. Then we say, hey, I spent a few hours this morning looking for a home for a client. And I came across a deal that didn't fit my buyer's criteria, but I might go as far as to call it a hidden gem on the market right now. Not a lot of people have seen this yet. And I think the photos on this one don't do it justice. Wanted to give you a heads up, as you might have seen this if you're in the market, and then, or as you might want to see this if you're in the market, and then we say reply gem to this email if you want the info on this one. Now, what happens with this email, again, we have already walked through why these emails work, right, how they work, but what happens here with this email is that we say reply gem, right, so they actually have a very easy way to have conversation with you. All they have to do is type in three letters, right? They type in gem, and then they can start a conversation with you. And then we don't direct them to a website, right? There's no complicated clicking and going through an IDX or any of that stuff. Literally, they just type in gem, and they can have that conversation with you. Now, when we have that conversation, right, we get access to information about them, right? We can learn a little bit about their needs. We can learn a little bit about where they're living, right? What are the motivations for selling? And that's going to really start that sales process, right, for us, where if they are qualified, well, now we can actually have that buyer consultation, right? Now we can have that listing appointment coming in from your email. And what we have also noticed is that this email works even on a small database. If you have a database of, let's say, 1,000 people, 500 people, this will still work as opposed to these generic, just kind of like very, very mass marketing type of emails. These basically never work if you have a small database. So this also allows you to tap into those people that are like kind of in the market, right? And then you get them to open up, you get to have that conversation and close the deal for yourself. Okay, so these we're gonna send twice per month, and then also you can see another example right over here. We say all new home listings and area name. Hey, I just put together a list of new listings that have hit area market in the last 7 days. check them out here, and then shoot me a reply if you have any questions on them and name, right? And then obviously you want to just customize these emails a little bit. So as people are clicking on this link, we can have a very lighthearted conversation with them. So we can give them a call based on who clicked on the link. And then as we have that conversation, it's very lighthearted. You can give them a call and say something like, hey, how are you doing? I noticed that you checked out some of the listings that have just hit the market. Just wanted to make sure that you get access to all the information that you are looking for. And then this starts a conversation with the homeowner and home buyer. We can see a little bit about their needs. We can see where they are. And then based on that, either we can update to our CRM, right? Give them a call maybe 3 months later, 6 months later, or if they're in the market right now, we can pair them up with the great house or pair them up obviously with the listing appointments so we can see the value of their house. So that starts a conversation from there. Now, lastly, we're gonna have our case study email example. Now, the biggest problem with current real estate marketing, right, is really that people are under leveraging their great client results. I see so many real estate agents posting just sold pictures or just listed picture, right? And then those pictures, they're very generic. There's no story, there's no concern handling, there's nothing, right? It's just a picture of a house, price, and a realtor smiling. And the problem with that from the homeowner's perspective is that they don't get to see the actual value the real estate agent provides. They don't get to see the average concerns average homeowner has in the market right now. They don't get to see anything about the process that the realtor actually does, right? So a lot of these things they're missed out on, and then ultimately you're missing out on a lot of referrals, a lot of clients you could have gotten otherwise had you just explained, well, how do you actually sell the house so that the homeowners, they can actually see that value. Because let's face it, a lot of people, right, they have the objection like, okay, why should I pay a real estate agent? Why should I pay the commission, right? And we have to handle that main concern. We have to show them the value before they can hire us. So let's go over this email and then show you how you can actually build that value, build that perceived value in the homeowner or home seller's eyes. So we're gonna start off with the email subject line, and we're gonna say how name sold her area home for amount asking price in Y days. So right from the get-go, right, we're gonna show them the area. We're gonna have a contextual relevancy right to your local market. We're gonna show them the amount, so the exact price that you actually sold the house, and then we're gonna show them the days, so we're gonna show them the speed of which we sell the house. Now, we're gonna start off the email here by saying name wanted to sell his city name home and move, and what was concerned about, insert the most common concern. Now, very specific reason as to why insert the most common concern here, right? Because a lot of the homeowners, they have very similar concerns. Those concerns could be like, let's say, can I find a new home after I sell my current home, right? Or the concern could be, well, can I actually sell my house quickly in this market, right? Or is it just gonna stay in the market, right? I'm gonna go do all this work, right? But I'm not gonna get the house sold, right? A lot of these concerns are actually very common, and they're holding people back from essentially buying and selling. So we wanna insert that concerns, and again, we wanna talk about it. We wanna insert that here. Now, after this, we say, and like many people in the current market, he thought that insert common obstacle and false belief, right? So here, again, we insert that obstacle, we insert that false belief, and then here we could say like, and like many people in the current market, he thought that it would be difficult to find another home that's actually better than their current home, right? That's an example we could add here. I met up with him or her, right? Whoever you talk about here in this email. And the first thing I told her or him was that the real estate market where insert common characteristics of the current market, we can't follow the standard buying and selling process. So here, obviously you would include whatever is going on in the current market, right? Let's say the interest rates are high, you talk about that. Let's say the inventory is low, right? You would talk about that. Whatever is going on in the current market, you want to add that in here, and then we can't follow the standard buying and selling process. You see, if you want to sell for the highest price while simultaneously locking in winning offer for one's ideal home in this market, we have to take into account two crucial factors. And then here, we insert the key to a successful transaction in the current market, and then we insert another key to a successful transaction in the current market. And then at this stage, you can obviously include whatever it is that you need to do, right, in order to achieve that outcome. Now, name agreed, and we implemented this. X days later, he was living in his new beautiful home, XYZ home, right? So he or her could finally insert client's personal core motivation and desire for moving in the first place. Now, again, super important thing, right? But what a lot of people actually miss is that these homeowners, these home buyers, right, they always have personal motivation. They always have personal desire for moving in the first place, right? And the desire itself, it's very powerful, it's very strong to tap into. Let's say somebody has a house, right, that is way too small for their current situation, right? Well, there's a lot of pain there, right? It's like too little space. Maybe there's no working space, right? Maybe there's a lot of noises coming through. Maybe there's not enough space for the kids, right? Or alternatively, let's say the house is too large, right? Maybe the kids have moved away, right? And now the homeowner, the home buyer, right? They're just paying too much money for their current house. All of their personal finances are just going to paying off the mortgage, paying off the expenses, right? Maybe they don't have enough money to travel, right? Whatever the case may be. And so what you want to do with this email is that you want to insert that desire, you want to insert that motivation that they had from the story that you had from this actual case study, right? And then based off that, a lot of people can relate. So a lot of those people that are in a similar situation, they can be like, hey, I have the desire as well. And that's exactly what we do over here. Now, after this, we go into the best part. So we sold his old home for XYZ more than he initially thought was possible. And now he's able to use that cash for, again, we insert that client's personal core motivation and desire. It could be, again, travel, buying a car, having more dispensable income, whatever the case may be. Now from here, we say, now if you've ever been on the fence about selling and moving, perhaps you've thought of it, but you're still unsure whether or not it's the right time for you or if you can afford it. After serving people as a realtor in location, right, again, we make the email contextually relevant for them for over X years. Here we can add in authority, right? For whatever amount of transactions you've had, whatever amount of years you've been in the business, right? We can build that authority, and now you can separate yourself from other real estate agents. We say that we have found the best course of action is always to first assess the situation and put together a game plan. You see, it all starts with envisioning how you want your life to look like in the future, and then we are able to reverse engineer the best path for you to get there. Now, the first step is to know what your old home could sell for, so you're able to see what options the market has to offer. Want to know where you stand, see what your options on the market could be? Well, reply back to this email with home, and I'll put together a personalized report for you. So here at the end, right, we allow that conversation to start if the homeowner has a need. And then let me tell you, there's a big difference with these types of leads compared to essentially any type of real estate lead out there, right? Because here we have tapped into motivations, we have addressed objections, we have sold them on the value of working with you, and we are also using social proof, so the homeowner actually has another person they can look to that has already worked with you. Now, this email, right, when people respond to you home, it's going to be very, very, very powerful way for you to actually get those warm, high quality real estate leads that are going to be almost virtually ready to work with you. And that's how we send out this email. Now, that's what we have going on over here. Now, again, if you'd like to have access to this email, you can just comment email marketing down below, and we will send you this email marketing strategy for free. You can access this document and just plug and play these emails.